You're scrolling late, it's past midnight, the room is completely dark except for the blue glow of your phone, and an ad stops your thumb. A guy in a tailored shirt is standing next to a sleek, modern vending machine in a busy gym. He opens the front panel, pulls out a black plastic tray overflowing with crumpled $20 bills, and smiles directly into the camera. Passive income, he says. I restock this machine once a week. It takes me 20 minutes and it makes me $1,000 a month while I sleep. No boss, no employees, no schedule. You don't fully believe it. You know how the internet works, but you don't ignore it either. The idea sticks the way ideas do at that hour. Earning money while you do absolutely nothing feels less like a scam and more like a secret club you just haven't been given the password to yet. You go to sleep, but the math is already running in the back of your head. The next morning, you sit at your kitchen table with a cup of coffee and open Facebook Marketplace. You type in used vending machine, dozens of listings pop up. Most of them are junk, yellowing machines from the white 992nd sitting in dusty garages, missing keys, or advertising soda brands that don't exist anymore. The refurbished, brand new ones cost $4,000 or $5,000. You tell yourself those expensive ones are for people who don't know what they're doing. You're going to bootstrap this. You find a listing for a solid clean combo machine, snacks on top, drinks on the bottom. The seller wants $1,800. You negotiate him down to $1,500. His listing description says, works perfectly, just needs a location. That specific phrase sits oddly in your stomach for a second, but you brush past it. You're an entrepreneur now. You rent a U-Haul truck for the afternoon, bribe a friend with pizza, and drive out to the suburbs to pick it up. This is the exact moment the internet fantasy collides with the physical world. Vending machines aren't just boxes. They are 600-pound blocks of reinforced steel, thick glass, and heavy refrigeration compressors. It takes an hour of sweating, swearing, and nearly crushing your fingers against a concrete driveway just to get it onto the truck's ramp. You drive home with your back aching. This doesn't feel passive, but you tell yourself it's just the setup phase, front-loaded effort. Now, you need a location. You can't just drop a 600-pound commercial appliance on a public sidewalk. You spend the next 3 days driving around your city after work, walking into barber shops, laundromats, auto body shops, and independent gyms. You get rejected 10 times in a row. The owners are busy, they don't care, or they look at you like you're trying to scam them. Most of them just say, "We already have a guy." Finally, you walk into a local tire shop. The waiting room gets sweltering hot in the summer, and the owner mentions his mechanics drink a massive amount of soda. He says yes, but he isn't doing it as a favor to a young entrepreneur. He knows how the game is played. He wants 20% of your gross sales right off the top, just for letting your machine use his wall space and electricity. You say yes immediately. You haven't done any real math on what giving up 20% of your gross revenue actually means, but you're just relieved to have a spot. That is the first small decision that will end up mattering far more than it feels like right now. The next day, you take a flatbed cart through the wide aisles of Costco. You spend $300 loading up on bulk boxes of chips, candy bars, and name brand sodas. You drive to the tire shop, painstakingly load the coils one by one, manually program the prices into the internal computer, lock the heavy front door, and walk away. You look back at it glowing in the corner of the waiting room. You take a deep breath. You are officially a business owner. For the first few days, you check on it constantly. Not physically, but mentally. You have a small app connected to the credit card reader on your phone. You wonder if people are using it. You wonder if the coins are piling up. On day 3, you check the app and see it, $41. It's not a lot of money, but it is $41 you didn't personally hand anyone. It's money that appeared while you were at your day job. You refresh the app again an hour later out of habit, not expectation. Still 41. A week later, you drive back to the tire shop to restock and pull the cash box. You sit in your car in the parking lot and count a small pile of $1 bills and a heavy handful of quarters. At the end of the first month, you sit down with your laptop to do the final accounting. Once the tire shop takes its 20% cut, and once you subtract what the snacks cost you wholesale at Costco, your true net profit for the month comes out to $90. $90 is not $5,000, but it's not zero either. And this is where your brain does the dangerous thing that human brains always do with small proof. It multiplies. If one machine makes $90 a month, what does 5 make? $450. What does 10 make? $900. What if you had 50 machines? You open a new spreadsheet. You are, without quite consciously deciding to, already thinking past the one machine sitting in the tire shop. You have caught the bug. But this is exactly where the math in that late night ad falls apart, and nobody selling you the dream ever mentions it. Let's look at the actual unit economics. A standard candy bar costs you 60 cents wholesale. You sell it in your machine for $1.50. That looks like 90 cents of pure profit. but the location just took 20% of that $1.50 sale, which is 30 cents. Now your profit is 60 cents. Then you have to account for credit card processing fees, which take another flat rate plus a percentage of every swipe. Now your profit is 50 cents. Then you have to account for the gas money you burned driving across town to restock it. A healthy machine in a decent spot after commission, fees, and restocking costs tends to clear somewhere in the low hundreds a month. To get anywhere near the promised $5,000 a month, you don't need one machine. You need 20 of them. You need 20 machines in 20 separate locations spread across a 50-mile radius, each location negotiated on its own terms. Each location on its own restocking schedule, each location requiring relationship management with a manager who might arbitrarily decide they want the machine gone tomorrow. The ad showed you a machine, singular, and it let your own head fill in the rest of the math completely wrong. But you don't know this yet, not fully. So you do exactly what the early proof pushes you toward. You reinvest. Over the next 2 months, you buy a second machine, then a third, then a fourth. You find a spot in a convenience store break room. You put one in a small warehouse. You put one in the lobby of a mid-rise apartment complex. For a while, this feels incredible. The spreadsheet number climbs. Your gross revenue hits $500, then $800, then $1,000 a month. You tell your friends at dinner that you've got a little vending route going and you enjoy the way it sounds, but the actual hours are creeping up on you in a way the number on the spreadsheet hides. Restocking 4 machines doesn't just take 4 times as long. It means 4 separate drives across different zip codes. It means 4 separate windows of time when the location is even open to let you in. It means keeping a paper list of combination codes, physical keys, and access times taped inside your kitchen cabinet because there's no clean system for it yet. Just your own memory keeping the whole operation afloat. Your living room is no longer a living room. It is entirely consumed by towering cardboard boxes of Gatorade, Doritos, and Snickers. You spend 3 hours every Sunday sorting everything into plastic bins just so you can load your car efficiently. And then the friction really starts. It's a Tuesday night. It's 11 p.m. It's raining, your phone buzzes on your nightstand. It's the shift manager at the warehouse location. The machine ate a guy's $2 bill, the coil jammed on a bag of pretzels. And now a line of angry night shift workers is kicking the glass, threatening to tip the machine over. You get out of bed, put on your shoes, and drive 20 minutes across town in the dark. You walk in, unlock the machine in front of an annoyed audience, unjam the coil, hand the guy 2 crumpled dollars from your own wallet, and drive home in silence. For 11 days after that, the coin mechanism on that machine stays broken while you wait for a replacement part to ship from across the country. The machine sits there, taking nobody's money. The warehouse manager mentions, not unkindly, that if it stays broken much longer, they might just ask you to pull it out and find a new vendor. Sitting in your car outside the warehouse, it finally hits you. Passive was never the right word for what you're doing. You are not an investor. You are running a very small, hyper-local logistics and delivery company, and your personal car is the only vehicle in the fleet. You are the warehouse manager, the delivery driver, the mechanic, and the customer service rep. And the margin eaters are just getting started. The spoilage catches you completely off guard. Chips go stale if a machine doesn't sell through fast enough. A slow-moving location means you are eating the wholesale cost on product nobody bought before the expiration date hit. You throw away $40 worth of protein bars and realize that $40 comes directly out of your net profit. Then your convenience store machine gets broken into. Someone took a crowbar to the front panel, prying it just enough to grab whatever cash was sitting in the bill acceptor. It wasn't a huge amount of money, maybe $60, but the lock mechanism is destroyed. A replacement lock costs $150 plus 3 hours of your time to drill out the old one and install the new one. You now understand why veteran root owners stop taking cash altogether and switch to card-only readers. But card readers cost $400 up front and take a larger cut of every transaction. Every fix in this business seems to just trade one physical cost for a different financial one. At the end of your 8th month, the owner of the tire shop calls you. He sees how much soda his mechanics are buying. He wants to renegotiate his cut. He wants 25% now, citing foot traffic value, and there isn't much room to argue. If you say no, you have to go rent a truck, move a 600-pound machine, and store it in your garage while making $0. You agree to the 25%. That night, you sit down at your kitchen table with a calculator. You pull up your spreadsheet. Your 4 machines brought in $1,200 in gross sales this month. But then you start subtracting. You subtract $600 for the actual wholesale cost of the inventory. You subtract $240 to pay the commission to the location owners. You subtract $40 for the expired inventory you had to throw away in the apartment lobby. You subtract $80 for the gas you burned driving the route twice a week. Your actual take-home net profit is $240. For 4 machines, for dealing with jammed coils at midnight, for turning your living room into a warehouse, for the stress of theft and renegotiations, you spent 25 hours this month driving, restocking, repairing, and sorting. You are making less than $10 an hour. You lean back in your chair. The illusion totally shatters. Here is the counterintuitive reality that actually explains why that original ad worked on you in the first place. You open your laptop, go back to your social feed, and find the guy who sparked this whole idea. You click on his profile. There's a link in his bio. Vending machine Empire Masterclass, $497. The people selling you vending machine courses, turnkey location lists, and machine bundles aren't making their real money from vending machines. They are making it from people exactly like you at exactly the stage you were at during that first midnight scroll. A digital course sold for $500 to 10,000 hopeful buyers is an infinitely more reliable and scalable business than any single vending route in the country. It has none of the commission splits, none of the spoiled chips, none of the jammed coin mechanisms at 11 at night in the freezing rain. The machine was never really the product being sold. The story about the machine was the product. And for a little while, you were the perfect customer for that story, not the customer for the vending business itself. Around this point, most people in this exact position do one of 2 things. The first group pushes further. They accept the reality of the margins and realize that the only way to make the per hour math work is sheer volume. They buy a commercial box truck, they rent actual warehouse space, they scale to 50, 80, 100 machines. They hire a guy for $15 an hour to do the driving and restocking so they can focus purely on negotiating new locations. They stop playing passive income and they start running a real grueling physical logistics empire. The second group starts quietly scaling back. They sell off the machine that's furthest away. Then they sell the one that keeps jamming. Then they sell the one whose location keeps shaving the commission split. Neither path is the fantasy from the ad. Both are just what running an actual small business has always looked like. You end up somewhere in between. You keep 2 machines, the ones with the least drama, on the easiest route. You sell the other 2 to someone who found your listing the exact same way you once found yours at a price that felt fair to both of you. You still check the app, but much less often now. You know roughly what it's going to say. Some months a bit more, some a bit less, always inside a tight, predictable range you understand now instead of a limitless ceiling you were guessing at. None of this means vending machines are a scam. Plenty of people make incredible money running them every single day in every city in the world, but it means the money comes from treating it like the physical, high-friction, small business it actually is. It comes from optimizing routes, mastering contracts, and ruthlessly managing a restocking calendar. It does not come from treating it like a slot machine you install once and then get to forget about. Passive income was never free income. It was always just income where the heavy lifting happened earlier and got compressed into a fragile system that someone still has to maintain. You didn't find a magical way around the work. You just found a different shape for it. And it took getting 4 machines deep to actually see that clearly. You close the laptop. You look at the heavy ring of keys sitting on your kitchen table. You don't quit. You still own the machines and they still make money. But you set your alarm for 6 a.m. You have a route to run tomorrow.